joining us today. My name is James Scriven. I lead IDB Invest. And I'd like to start by thanking all of you joining us today in person in Santiago, and also the people that are following us online, and obviously the government of Chile for being a great host. My objective today is to do two things. One, to continue the conversation that our President Ilan Golfan talked about this morning about the land of opportunities in Latin America and the Caribbean, and two, how we can help. I'll try to do it with some images so you hopefully get entertained. First, let me start by talking about us as a group. Ilan this morning talked about a group that has the obsession of improving lives. We have over 660 million people in Latin America and the Caribbean, and the obsession that we have as an institution is to improve each of our lives. We do it by three institutions. The IDB, I'll talk more about that. IDB Invest, I'll talk a lot more about that. And IDB Lab. These three institutions come together to be the most powerful and largest development institution in Latin America and the Caribbean. The three institutions, and I'll double click on the concept of why these three institutions are important to all of you. Business environment. IDB, the public sector part of IDB, works with governments to improve the operating environment for all private sector companies. We push and dynamize the private sector through investments and knowledge, and I'll speak more about that in a minute. And as you will hear from Irene Arias, the CEO of IDB Lab, in a few minutes, what IDB Lab does is invest in early ventures that have the potential to transform the lives of Latin America and the Caribbean, particularly through technology. What we do as an institution, think of us as a bank, a consulting firm, and a private equity fund. We're an unregulated financial institution that has the freedom to innovate around product development and work with financial solutions, with advisory services, bring in and crowd in foreign direct investment in our region, and help the development of our region through knowledge. Impact. In the last 8-9 years since we were recreated, we invested $62 billion into our region. We mobilized $21 billion of co-financing opportunities in our region, over 500 projects. But as a development institutions, our governments and our shareholders are asking us for impact. And these numbers are quite impressive. 5 million MSME financed. We're talking about mitigation of climate impact. We're talking about job creations. So we have this view that it's not only about money, but more importantly about impact. Let me talk about us as an institution. We want to be and strive to be the partner of choice for all of you to invest in Latin America and the Caribbean. We bring local knowledge, regional knowledge. President referred to this more than 60 years of operating and working in all our 26 countries. We bring together the public and private discussion that sometimes is very needed in critical sectors. We bring advice. The solution of development is not only financing, many times is advising our clients to transform their activities. And we have deep industry expertise, and I will refer to a bit more of that in a minute. Local presence. Unmatched local presence. Nobody in the world has the knowledge on the ground experience. Today, 50% of our people are physically outside of the US, physically in our 26 countries, and our growth plan in the context of the capital increase that Ilan just referred to is the objective to have 75% of our staff physically in the region. I talked about industries, and I'm going to refer to this. We operate in 14 industries. We're divided in 14 industries, and I'm going to give a few examples of what we've done. But our biggest competitive advantage is over decades and decades of knowing what it means to build an airport, knows what it means to be able to invest in agribusiness. We've done it all. And what we want to show to our clients and our sponsors is we're practitioners. We're not writing great books. We're investing our own money and helping investors to come in. So with that, I want to show a few examples. Many of you have traveled to Lima, Peru. Many of you have criticized the airport. We have built, and we're weeks away from the inauguration of a new terminal, a new runway, and a new control tower. We invested $250 million and mobilized billions of dollars into a capex investment of $2.5 billion. Another example, Puerto Urabá in Colombia. Very difficult place, obviously on the ocean, but more importantly, connecting a very poor part of Colombia. We did it together with a number of investments, including GIP, Global Infrastructure Partners, and connecting with all the work that we did on the PPP business with the 4G and 5G programs that successfully the government of Colombia has implemented. Another example, El Camino, la Ruta de las Flores in Guatemala. This is a road that if you wanted to take it about 2 years ago, it took you 3 hours to drive. It takes 25 minutes now. It's the source and the bloodline of a number of transport areas. And this, you can see the work that we've done over here. Last but not least, Barbados. We invested a lot of money, a lot of effort. Why did we do this? We wanted to separate as much possible the cruiser lines from the imports of goods into. We financed berth number 6. So this is a good example of some of the efforts that we've been doing. But we're not only looking at past industries, the traditional industries, and that's what brings us to Santiago de Chile or to Chile. Critical minerals, synthetic fuels, agri-tech and food tech through the help and leadership of IDB Lab. Reforestation. You've heard our president talk about our Amazon Forever initiative and the work of reforestation. Data centers. So these are all very new sectors for a lot of us. We already are investing in all these sectors and have this deep expertise. But it's not an easy road. A boss of mine said once, Latin America is not for beginners. And what we're showing over here, for those of you who have traveled this is El Camino del Caracol, the 365 curves it has. It crosses between Chile and Argentina. This shows that this is never a straight line. It's a very complicated way to get from an investor to an investment. And we want to show that we are the vehicle to be able to go from point A to point B. We don't only invest our own money. We crowd in investments from abroad. Over 50% of our investments co-invest with others. Over the last few years, we crowded in over 260 investors or co-investors through the projects that we've operated. Today, we're doing on a yearly basis $5 billion of investments that are coming through us. Some of them are local investors. Over 80 of those 260 are domestic investors, pension funds, insurance companies, locally in Latin America and the Caribbean. But many are from abroad. And you can see the statistics over there, how we're working to constantly crowd in investments. And we're obsessed with this. We've mapped 500 investors that are willing to or able to invest in Latin America and the Caribbean, and we won't stop until those 263 become 500. I want to show you how we bring and crowd in. The commissioner just now talked about the word de-risking. Latin America and the Caribbean has abundance of natural and human resources, but credit rating and the complexity of building them are not easy. And what we want to do is help you by de-risking those investments. We do it by co-investing, by investing equity into, by providing advice, by bringing in and investing in even triple-C rated countries. We bring it by taking riskier part of the investments, either investing heavily during the construction period or even investing in the highest risk structure within the investments. And we also have a wide range. Traditionally, we just crowded in banks. What we do now is have created a set of products tailored to the investors that we have. When you talk about insurance companies, they normally do unfunded guarantees, and we call it the Unfunded Credit Protection Program. Some investors are in the US and would prefer investing through a bond. We issued 144A investments there. We've done a number of different traditional loans and securities. So look at us as a wide range of products. And if we don't have it on the list, we can create it as well. So with that, I will try and end with a few examples of what we've done. Liberty in Costa Rica, the telecom company, we invested $400 million through and with 50 partners. This is a good example of how we reached out to a number of investors through a 144A instrument in the US. Another example, Dominican Republic. We invested together with AES from the US in what is one of the largest solar plants in the planet. And we did it by investing through 21 partners together with us, both local and international investors. Last but not least, closer to home, we did a strong work with the Minister of Energy and the Minister of Hacienda to work towards a stabilization of prices, of the volatility of the prices to get to renewable energy. And we did it by issuing one of the largest bonds that was issued, at least in the history for us, our largest. We mobilized $2 billion, and we helped stabilize the price of 29 generating electricity companies over here. And through the help of Itaú, Goldman Sachs, and JP Morgan, issued this over here in the US and more broadly. So let me end with a few images to talk about the opportunity, and Chile is a great example for that. This is los solares del Atacama. President just now referred to the Atacama Desert, one of the places that has benefited not only by sun, but also by critical minerals. It's a great example of what the north of Chile provides, but also what the south of Chile provides. We just came from Punta Arenas. This is Torres del Paine, you would recognize. Close to that is Punta Arenas. Punta Arenas is blessed with strongest winds you can ever imagine. And what does that help? Renewable energy. It has a conversion rate for wind farms of about 70%. Very few places on earth has that. So what you find in Chile is the north and the south have enormous potentials to generate both solar energy, critical minerals, wind energy. So I just wanted to end by saying thank you to all of you. We're over here to help crowd in investments into our region and show not only the challenges that our region has, but more importantly, the opportunities that our region has. Thank you very much.